Imagine living in a world where owning a car was about as realistic as owning a private jet. No highways, no traffic jams, no drive-thrus, no road trips, just horses, wagons, mud, and a whole lot of patience. Now imagine a stubborn farm boy with only an 8th grade education looking at that world and saying,
"This machine will change the world! I will prove you all wrong!"
I'm gonna build a machine that ordinary people can afford. Not kings, not millionaires, not railroad tycoons. Everybody. People laughed. Investors fired him. His first company collapsed. His second company was stolen from him. Experts told him he was crazy. But 35 years after leaving his father's farm with little more than curiosity and determination, half of all the cars on Earth carried his name. That farm boy was Henry Ford, the man who didn't invent the automobile, but invented the automobile industry, and in the process transformed transportation, manufacturing, business, labor, and modern life itself. This is the incredible story of the farmer's son who put the world on wheels. Chapter 1: The Farmer Boy Who Hated Farming. Long before he became one of the richest men in American history, Henry Ford was just another kid growing up on a farm. He was born on July 30th, 1863, in what is now Dearborn. His father, William Ford, owned a successful farm where the entire family lived and worked. As the oldest of 6 children, Henry's future seemed already decided. One day, the farm would be his. Simple, predictable, safe. There was only one problem. Henry absolutely hated farming. While his father saw endless fields of opportunity, Henry saw endless hours of exhausting labor. Years later, he admitted, "I never had any particular love for the farm. It was the mother on the farm I loved." That single sentence tells you everything. Henry wasn't attached to the land, he was attached to the people. And when those people were gone, the farm became a prison. Unlike many successful entrepreneurs, Henry wasn't a classroom superstar. In fact, he never made it beyond the 8th grade. But what he lacked in formal education, he made up for with curiosity. Relentless curiosity. The kind that drives parents crazy. The kind that causes a child to take perfectly working objects just to see how they work. The kind that changes history. Chapter 2: The Watch That Changed Everything. When Henry was 12 years old, his father gave him a pocket watch. Most kids would have admired it. Henry dismantled it completely. Then he put it back together, again and again and again. Soon he could disassemble and reassemble watches in minutes. Before long, neighbors were bringing him broken watches. Friends were bringing him watches. Relatives were bringing him watches. The young farm boy became the unofficial watch repairman of the community. Looking back, it wasn't really about watches. It was about understanding machines. Henry wanted to know why things worked, and more importantly, how they could work better. Then came the moment that changed his life forever. At 13, during a school trip to Detroit, Henry saw a steam engine for the first time. For most children, it was just another machine. For Henry, it was magic. The giant iron machine could create power. It could move. It could work. It could replace muscle. From that moment, mechanics became an obsession. While other teenagers chased hobbies, Henry chased engines. By age 15, he had already built his own steam engine. Not bad for a kid who supposedly wasn't academic. Chapter 3: Heartbreak and Escape. Then tragedy struck. Henry's beloved mother, Mary Ford, died suddenly after a brief illness. The loss shattered him. More than anyone else in the family, Mary had understood Henry. While others saw a restless boy who spent too much time tinkering with machines, she saw curiosity. While others expected him to become a farmer, she encouraged him to think differently. She was his biggest supporter, his closest confidant, and the one person who truly believed he could become something more than what life on the farm had planned for him. Her death left a void that nothing could fill. The farm that had once felt warm and familiar suddenly became a place of painful memories. Every field reminded him of walks with his mother. Every room in the house carried echoes of her presence. The place he never particularly loved now felt almost unbearable. As his grief grew, so did his resentment toward farm life. The future his father envisioned for him, taking over the family farm and spending the rest of his life working the land, felt more suffocating than ever. Henry wanted something different. He wanted machines. He wanted invention. He wanted a future that stretched beyond the fields of Michigan. For the next few years, the idea of leaving consumed his thoughts, and by the time he turned 16, he could no longer ignore the calling. Against his father's wishes and with no clear roadmap for what came next, Henry packed his belongings and made one of the most important decisions of his life. He left. No business plan, no wealthy backers, no guarantees of success. Just a young boy carrying ambition, curiosity, and an unshakable belief that his future existed somewhere beyond the farm. In 1879, he boarded a train bound for Detroit, a rapidly growing industrial city filled with factories, machines, and opportunity. As the countryside disappeared behind him, Henry was leaving behind everything he had ever known: the farm, his childhood, his old life. What he couldn't possibly know was that this journey would change not only his future, but the future of transportation itself. The grieving farm boy staring out that train window wasn't simply heading to Detroit. He was unknowingly taking the first step toward becoming one of the most influential industrialists in human history. Chapter 4: Detroit, Failure, and Survival. Detroit was exploding with industrial growth. Factories were appearing everywhere. Steam-powered machines were transforming industries. For a mechanically obsessed teenager, it was paradise. Henry quickly found work at the Michigan Car Company. His career lasted 6 days. Then he got fired. Not exactly the start of a future billionaire. For a while, he struggled to find steady work. Eventually, he landed an apprenticeship at the James Flower & Brothers machine shop. The pay? Just $2.60 per week, not enough to survive. So Henry worked nights repairing watches, 6 hours every night, 6 nights a week, for another $3. Think about that schedule: machine shop by day, watch repair by night, learning and experimenting whenever possible. Most people would have burned out. Henry kept going, because he wasn't chasing a paycheck, he was chasing knowledge. Chapter 5: The Young Machine Whisperer. In 1882, at 19, Henry returned home. Not because he suddenly loved farming, far from it. He returned because the farm contained something he loved far more than crops: machines. His father had purchased a portable steam engine. Henry practically adopted it. He studied every component, learned every sound, mastered every function. Soon, neighbors began paying him to operate and repair steam engines. Word spread rapidly. Before long, the famous Westinghouse Electric Corporation hired him to travel across Michigan, servicing steam tractors. The farm boy was becoming a respected engineer, and his reputation was growing. Around this time, he met a young woman named Clara Jane Bryant. The two quickly fell in love. They became engaged. His father even gifted him 40 acres of land. Most fathers would have expected their son to farm it. Henry had other plans, because by now, his eyes were fixed on a much bigger future. Chapter 6: The Engine That Changed His Destiny. In 1891, Henry and Clara moved to Detroit. There, Henry encountered something revolutionary: the gasoline engine. Created by Nicolaus Otto, it was radically different from steam engines: smaller, faster, more efficient, and far more practical. Henry became obsessed. There was just one problem: he didn't fully understand how it worked, especially the electrical ignition system. So he did what ambitious people do: he went where the knowledge was. Henry joined the Edison Illuminating Company as a night engineer. The job paid $40 a month. More importantly, it gave him access to electricity. Whenever the generators were running smoothly, Henry studied, experimented, learned, obsessed. In 1893, Clara gave birth to their only child, Edsel Ford. Just 3 months later, Henry was promoted to chief engineer. That same year, he built his first working gasoline engine. The dream of a horseless carriage suddenly seemed possible. Chapter 7: The Night the Automobile Was Born. June 4th, 1896, 1:30 in the morning. While most of Detroit was asleep, Henry Ford was putting the finishing touches on a machine he had spent years dreaming about. It was called the quadricycle, a strange-looking vehicle that resembled two bicycles fused together and powered by a small gasoline engine. By modern standards, it was incredibly primitive. It had no reverse gear, overheated easily, and its controls were far from perfect. In fact, Henry even knocked down part of his workshop wall because the vehicle was too large to fit through the door. But none of that mattered.
For the first time, his horseless carriage actually moved under its own power. The future had arrived. The quadricycle proved that Henry's vision wasn't just a dream, it was possible. After testing and improving it, he sold the vehicle for $200 and immediately began working on a better version. Because Henry Ford had already learned an important lesson. Success isn't the finish line for an innovator, it's the starting point for the next breakthrough. Chapter 8: Failure Twice, Success Forever. By 1899, wealthy businessman William Murphy invested in Henry's vision. Together, they launched the Detroit Automobile Company. It failed, spectacularly. Production was slow, cars were expensive, investors disagreed with Henry's vision. Eventually, he was fired. Most people would have quit. Henry didn't. Instead, he famously embraced failure. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. So he turned to racing. If people wouldn't trust his ideas, he'd prove them on the track. His racing cars shattered records, defeated rivals, generated headlines, and suddenly investors came running back. The result was the birth of the Ford Motor Company, the company that would eventually change the world. Chapter 9: The Car for Everyone. At the dawn of the 20th century, automobiles were luxury toys. Rich people bought them. Ordinary people admired them from a distance. Henry hated that. He declared, "I will build a motor car for the great multitude, not for the wealthy, for everyone." That vision became reality through the Model A, then the Model N. But Henry's true masterpiece was still coming, the Model T. Released in 1908, strong, reliable, simple, affordable, built using revolutionary vanadium steel. The Model T wasn't just another car, it was freedom on 4 wheels. Within days, 15,000 orders flooded in. America was hooked. Chapter 10: The Assembly Line That Changed Humanity. Then came Henry's greatest innovation, not the car, the way the car was built. During a visit to a Chicago slaughterhouse, he saw workers processing animals step by step along a line. Suddenly, inspiration struck. What if cars were assembled the same way? Instead of workers moving around the car would move to the workers. By 1913, the moving assembly line was operational. The results were unbelievable. Production time dropped from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. Imagine turning a full workday into a coffee break. Costs collapsed, production exploded, prices fell, cars became affordable. The world changed forever. By 1914, Ford produced more cars than all competitors combined. By the mid-1910s, nearly half the cars on Earth were Fords. Half! Think about that. One company, one vision, one stubborn farm boy. Chapter 11: The $5 Revolution. Success created another problem. Workers hated assembly line jobs. The work was repetitive, monotonous, soul-crushing. Employees quit constantly. So Henry made a decision that shocked the business world. He doubled wages, $5 a day. In 1914, this was almost unbelievable. Competitors laughed. Critics predicted bankruptcy. Instead, workers flooded into Detroit. Ford attracted the best talent. Productivity soared. Turnover collapsed.
the company grew even faster. Sometimes the most profitable thing you can do is treat people better. Henry understood that decades before most executives did. Chapter 12. The Cost of Success. In 1919, Henry bought out his investors and gained complete control of Ford Motor Company. He became one of the richest men on earth. But success created a new problem. Henry became stubborn, painfully stubborn. He believed the Model T was all people needed. Meanwhile, competitors like Chevrolet were introducing stylish, comfortable vehicles. Executives warned him, his son Edsel warned him, customers warned him. Henry ignored everyone. Eventually, reality won. Model T sales declined. Ford had to shut down production and start over with a new Model A in 1927. It was a reminder that even geniuses could become trapped by their own success. Chapter 13. The final chapter. Henry continued innovating. He built the massive River Rouge complex, introduced groundbreaking manufacturing techniques, helped shape modern industry. But difficult years followed: the Great Depression, economic turmoil, personal loss. Then in 1943, tragedy struck again when his son Edsel died of cancer. The loss deeply affected him. 2 years later, Henry handed control of the company to his grandson, Henry III. On April 7, 1947, Henry Ford passed away at age 83. The farm boy who once hated farming had transformed the world. The boy who put the world on wheels. When Henry Ford left his father's farm at 16, nobody could imagine what would happen next. Not his father, not his teachers, not even Henry himself. He failed, got fired, lost companies, faced criticism, ignored doubters, and kept going. What made Henry Ford extraordinary wasn't that he invented the automobile. He didn't. What made him extraordinary was that he made automobiles available to ordinary people. He turned a luxury into a necessity, a curiosity into an industry, a machine into a revolution. Today, the Ford Motor Company remains one of the largest automakers on Earth, worth tens of billions of dollars and operating across the globe. Not bad for a farm boy who hated farming. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of Henry Ford's story. Sometimes the thing you're expected to become isn't who you're meant to be. Sometimes your future begins the moment you walk away from the path everyone else chose for you. If you enjoyed this documentary, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story from history. Until next time, keep moving forward.